Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Cube Ramblings. Took a little bit of a week off there because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, and now I've got an abundance of things this week, my friends, an abundance. So lots of stuff to just cover as we're going here. It is for me a Saturday, well, almost Sunday morning, but Saturday night, December the 5th, 2015. Like I said, we're only about 5 minutes or so away from midnight, so that'll be a lie in about 5 minutes or so. I hope everybody has had an excellent 2 weeks since I've talked to you last. I've had a busy week myself with various things going on, particularly technology-wise. I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but before I do, let's start off as we always do whenever we have some information about Cube World, and let's do it. So over the past 2 weeks, Wale has tweeted out a few more things, a few more little nuggets of information about Cube World. One of them is that he was working on locked dungeon quests that you have to solve before you can actually enter a dungeon. So you have to go off and do your thing, and then that will unlock the dungeon that you were doing the thing for, and then you can then go and do your thing with the dungeon. A lot of doing your thing here. This is about as much English as I'm probably going to be capable of tonight. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try the best as we can for this. Healing Stream, which is from one of the classes, used to be a targeted spell. So you would just target whatever ally you want, and they would get a nice little heal out of you. Now it's an AOE, so now you can just target a person on the ground, and it will get everybody in that healing effect aura that you'll get. And he's added some hidden underground caves, which I'm very happy to see, because the caves now that are in the system, that are in the system, that are in the game as we speak today, are kind of nice. Some of them are a little bit extensive, but not really, and they're mostly in the side of mountains, and they're kind of bland, and so it's nice to see that we're going to have some more variety with that, and actual caves that you have to uncover. Basically, the way it's going to work is some caves will be just hidden under those large trees that you come across. Others will be underneath some discolored ground that you'll find along the way, and you can just drop a bomb on it and blow it up and gain access to it. And then you'll have some quests down there that you can take a look at and get some more XP and everything else, and maybe some nice loot perhaps. So that would be kind of cool. It would be even cooler if some of the caves had boss monsters in it and stuff. That would be really nice, because we have a nice variety now of boss monsters, and that would just add to the already existing crop that we have. And in multiplayer, the hit point of enemies is going to be increased by 50% for each additional attacking player. Now, I don't know how that's going to work exactly. It seems like it's going to be kind of an interesting little sort of dicey, maybe not dicey, but a tricky piece of code that's going to have to be balanced, I'd say, because I don't know, does the 50% apply as soon as another player starts attacking? Does it apply when another player comes within range of an enemy that's being attacked? Does it only apply within the first, 30 seconds of attacking an enemy or something, or the first couple shots against an enemy, or when an enemy is only at above 80% health or something like that? I don't know. I don't know any of those answers. It seems like something like that would have to take effect, though, because I could imagine it being more of a case where if you're on a multiplayer server, you might run up to an enemy that's almost defeated and then end up screwing over everybody who's trying to to defeat it in order, and by giving him another extra 50% hit points back. The other thing is, it could also lead to when exactly does it apply? Does it apply only when you fire on it, or when you actually damage it? Because I could see, if that's the case, I could see it where people will just kind of hang out and just let one person do all the attacking, and then just reap the XP benefit of it. Now, I don't know if the XP has been modified in the multiplayer. I know as it stands today, everybody who's on the multiplayer server, as things get killed, get XP, whether they're there around it or not. And I don't know if that's been, if the range of that's been reduced to you got to be in the same area, or if it's been to a point where you have to actually participate in damaging something. I would feel like if we're going to do this thing with the increasing the hit points by 50%, I would imagine that it would be based on actually, you know, how many players have hit, have scored a hit on the enemy. Misses shouldn't count for that because you can miss quite a bit, and also I would think that the XP rewards would be based on that too, where instead of giving everybody on the server XP, it would only be the people who, you would only get the XP for the monsters that you helped fight, even if you only, you know, shot them once, say. I think that seemed like a more fair deal there, and that would make more sense to me if you were trying to implement something like that. That might be how it comes out, but we don't know yet. We're just getting little tidbits here and there, and there was no new music that I could see out there for now. So that is what we've got as far as the Cube World updates go. So what have I been? What's been going on with me the last couple days? I have been having some computer issues. It happened a couple days ago, actually earlier in the week, I would say. I got just a random blue screen of death, and don't know what brought that on. I don't remember what I was playing at the time. It was something, I wasn't recording or anything like that, as far as I remember. It was just I was just playing something off camera, and it blue screened on me. I restarted, and I've had some random blue screens before, so it's not that big a deal. But this time around, it seems to have caused some damage, where my primary hard drive is reporting lots of unreadable not sectors, but corrupted clusters and whatnot. So, and a lot of them, it's like all across the disk too. So it's not just one, it's not centered in one particular area. It's got, you know, a lot of Steam games have fallen into it, you know, and random files within those Steam games. Usually some of them are just text files, but there are a couple DLLs in there. As it stands right now, for some reason, I can't get either Chrome or the Steam store, you know, the Steam client to actually load up any web pages. So I'm actually doing all my stuff right now in Firefox, which is rather hilarious. When I was looking at Kotaku, and all the comments are just one. They've in Firefox, for some reason, instead of showing up across the screen like you would expect, they actually show up as just one word on a line per line all the way down the screen. So it was really rather hilarious to try to read the comments on some things, scrolling all the way. But yeah, something's up. I know that there was a couple other hardware things. One of the fans on my liquid cooled system was starting to go. It was making some noise, and then I looked at it, and it was having trouble spinning. So I went and have replaced that. I did that on Friday. That's why I didn't stream on Friday. I was replacing that in there, and then I figured while I went out and got that, I also got an upgrade to my video card. So I went from a GTX 570 to a GTX 960. I'm not going to get the full power of the 960 because I have a PCIe 2.0 revision on here, times 16. So, and that's, I think the maximum on that is 5 megabits per second, question mark, or 5 gigabits per second, question mark. Probably gigabits as far as the bus goes on that. And the one that is recommended for the 960 and really all the 900 series and a lot of the other ones, is a revision 3 one, PCIe 3.0. That has, like, I think maxes out at 8 gigabits per second or something like that. But from what I've read, and they're both, it's backwards compatible and all that stuff. Well, from what I've read, the most you'll see is probably a 1 to 2% drop in performance. And it's probably not going to be noticeable for me because I'm not running at like 1440p or anything like that. I'm just running at the lower 1080p is apparently the lower resolution nowadays. So I think everything will be good there. That means I can probably I haven't actually kicked the tires yet with it. I've been just trying to deal with the hard drive that is not doing so well. My primary drive is not happy, but I'm able to access the computer. It's just there are things that just aren't quite working right. So I'm hoping that will help. Will try to fix some of itself. The newer, like the SSDs, this is my SSD drive that's on the fritz. They actually have some correction code within them that try to help with the marking things as not usable anymore, and migrating things around. I forget what they call it, like wear guard or something like that. Some technical term for it, where the drive itself will move things around when there's NAND gates that aren't functioning anymore. So I hope that's the case. So I'm kind of like letting the computer just kind of lay and not do much, and see if it will help with that. And I haven't played any games with the new card yet, and I haven't rendered with it yet. I'm hoping that the rendering will actually be a lot faster. We'll see. That would be really, really nice if that's the case, because that would be fantastic. In the meantime, though, I've also gotten all of my parts except for additional memory. I have some memory, but not all of it has come in yet. I've gotten pretty much all the parts together for my brand new computer. So this was my current computer is struggling a little bit, but I still have to put together the brand new one, and that one's going to be rather kick-ass, I would say, personally. It should be anyway. I spent quite a bit on it. And it's going to be a custom build for me. So I'm building it piece by piece. Got all the pieces together. I just need to sit down and do it. And basically, it's going to be a whole lot of me swearing and getting paper cuts from opening all the boxes. I am, I've thought on some occasions of doing unboxing videos, and then I realized that the video would start out pretty normal for an unboxing video, and then all of a sudden it would just break into just geysers of blood. Be just a horror show right off, because I have this knack for every time I open a box, especially in the wintertime here when my fingers are all dry from the dry air and stuff. Like, as soon as I touch a box anymore, like right now, it's just I get paper cuts all across me. I've got at least a dozen or more just from the 2 things that I unboxed yesterday, getting my current PC working again. So it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be a lot of swearing and a lot of hopefully I need to go get some beer, because that makes it a little bit better. that'll make it pass by a lot easier, I'd say. So that is the other thing on my list there, and then I'll finally be in a position where I'll be able to, while something's rendering, I'll be able to do other things instead of just kind of sitting here watching other YouTube videos and generally doing other things like that. I can actually, live stream or something while renderings are happening, and it just helps improve my throughput, which is good, given that how much I've overtaxed myself as far as things that I want to do and things I'm trying to keep tabs on and all that stuff. So beyond that, I just played a little bit more Paragon. It was actually weird. Friday night was very weird because it's the first night in as long as I can remember or at least a year anyway, that I did not do any recording at all. So it just because I had the computer in pieces and I was just doing what I needed to do there, and it felt very weird. I'm like, oh man, I'm itching to do something, but by the time I got done, it was too late, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to do this. So I'm really in the talkative mood tonight because I really just I'm excited to finally get back to record something. Hopefully I'll be able to render this out and everything like normal. If not, it's just going to end up being just an audio only thing that goes to SoundCloud. But I'm thinking, I'm sitting here, everything seems to be working all right so far. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will go well with the rendering. And I haven't done test rendering yet, but we'll see. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So, over to some gaming news. A lot of things going on here. We had the what was it? Award ceremony. The Game Awards 2015 just got done the other day, and there was also the PlayStation Experience. I think that just got done today, possibly. So we've had a few announcements from those, as well as the award winners to talk about and other things around that. So I might as well jump into that right now, and I got a bunch of other things on the list here. So the Game Awards 2015, what did we get with that? Well, we got a couple nominees and some winners here. I'm going to list off a few of the ones. And then tell you who won here. So Game of the Year, we'll start off with that. Why not? Because that's the big one. Game of the Year, the nominees were Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Super Mario Maker, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was the winner of Game of the Year. And honestly, I haven't played Bloodborne. I've played a little bit of Fallout 4, but yeah, that's not the little bit of the 6 hours or so that I've played of it. I can tell you, Fallout 4, not Game of the Year, not my Game of the Year anyway, because it's just not. It's good, it's fun, it's not really like the storyline so far. Not that great. Some of the elements of it are kind of off. Let's put it that way. For me, having never played a Fallout game before, it's just perfectly fine. I imagine if I had played some of the earlier Fallout games, then I might be a little bit even more jaded against it, because that seems like to be the case from people who are fans of the series. But so far, it's been okay for me. I just it's kind of not fully baked in a lot of important ways, I think, possibly. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I have never played any Metal Gear games at all, so I can't comment on whether that would be a more appropriate game of the year or not. Super Mario Maker, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure why that would even be nominated for Game of the Year, to be honest. I mean, I get it. It's really fun to do. It is the definition of a very good, well put together game, even though you're making games. But I don't know. I just feel like there would be other things that would be nominated there rather than that. But yeah, who knows? And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, having played a bunch of that, I can very wholeheartedly, vehemently agree with that being the one that won Game of the Year. Developer of the Year. I will tell you in a minute once their website decides to... Whoever developed this website, really bad at developing websites. Bethesda Game Studios, CD Projekt Red, From Software, Kojima Productions, and Nintendo were the nominees, and CD Projekt Red won the Developer of the Year. I can't say much about that, honestly. I mean, it makes sense if The Witcher 3 won it. CD Projekt has given away lots of DLC for free with The Witcher, and then Witcher 3, and then a few paid ones as well that have been well received as far as I know. So I can't really disagree with what they've done. I mean, they're one of the only ones listed on here, with the exception of From Software, and possibly Nintendo, that haven't released something this year that wasn't buggy as hell, I guess, at launch. So there you go. I think that works. That works for me. Best independent game. The nominees were Axiom Verge, Her Story, Ori and the Blind Forest, sorry, and Rocket League. And the winner was Rocket League, which is cool. I'm cool with that. What was that? Best independent game. All right. Axiom Verge looks like a Metroidvania. I haven't played that, so I can't tell you what that's like. Her Story I've heard about. That is an interesting one where you try to piece together little video fragments, and as you piece them together, a story emerges from it. It looked like it was a lot of fun actually to play. I just never picked it up because I watched someone play it on YouTube, and I was like, well, okay, I've pretty much seen the game at this point, so no need for me to do that. Ori and the Blind Forest is a platformer, and I've off again and on again taken a look at it. It's very, very beautiful art. I've looked at the trailers, and I've looked at people playing it, and I just haven't actually pulled the trigger on ever buying it. It looks interesting, it looks cool, it looks like something that I would like, but it kind of looks like it's very difficult. You need to be pretty dexterous to do it, and a lot of the YouTubers that I saw playing it, I don't think they ever finished it, actually. I think they just started playing it and then kind of gave up at some point along the way, unless I just completely missed their endings to it. So, and then, of course, Rocket League, something I've played a bunch of, not as much as others, but I enjoy the heck out of it. It was certainly a sleeper hit. I didn't hear anything about it until it had already been out and millions of people had already, partaken in it. So I feel like it was one of those things that just came out of the blue, and really fun game. For as simple as it is, it's a very, very fun game. They've got new DLC now where it's got the mutators and stuff. Where I was watching somebody play a hockey game in it, where you were on ice and driving around on ice, and the ball was a hockey puck, and you're trying to knock that around. I thought that was really cool. So I agree with that. I agree with what they picked there. Oh, and I'm sorry, Undertale was also a nominee, but they didn't win. Haven't seen much of that. I saw a little bit, like a video here and there of Undertale. It's kind of like the classic RPG, what's the word I want to use? Classic RPG mechanics, but with a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a modern twist to it, and apparently a very good story. But I haven't done any of it. I haven't played any of it, so I wouldn't know. But there you go. Best mobile or handheld game. So the nominations were for Downwell, Fallout Shelter, Lara Croft Go, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and Pac-Man 256. So obviously we know what Pac-Man 256 is. I would think, it's pretty much what you would expect it to be. The winner was Lara Croft Go, a game that I played a little bit on the channel. I did a side quest video on it. I like the Go games. The Lara Croft Go was pretty good. Hitman Go was also fairly intuitive and cool. Both of those I think were really good things, and they're very casual, very easy to jump into and jump out of, and simple yet challenging. So I'm behind that choice that they made there. I've never played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, so I don't know what that is. Fallout Shelter is basically the free game that Bethesda put out prior to Fallout 4 to get you interested in Fallout 4, and it's, it seemed like it was a cool thing. I know certainly there was a lot of people playing it, but I haven't played it myself, so I couldn't tell you what it's like, other than it's a base management thing where you send people out occasionally to the wasteland, and it's got some real time aspects to it. So you can send them out, and while they're out, if you log back in 20 days later, then you'll have 20 days worth of supplies that they got, or something like that, something to that effect. And Downwell, from what I understand, is just a 2D platformer where you're literally falling down a well as fast as you can without dying. Something, I don't know. It's about as much as I know about that. Best narrative, Her Story, Life is Strange, Tales from the Borderlands, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and Until Dawn. And the winner was Her Story. I watched a bunch of Let's Plays on Her Story, so I kind of understand the story behind it, and I get what they're going at, because it's got it's very mysterious, but also very basic in how you do it, so you kind of piece it together on your own. You're the one doing it. You're not being guided through it, whereas, say, Life is Strange, you're being guided through the story. Tales from the Borderlands is still very much a linear story, even though you can do some separate things from other people. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, not linear, but also, I don't know, the narrative in Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is really good for the side quests. The main quests, they might not be quite as good in some places. Until Dawn is more of a horror movie thing that you're participating in. That's kind of very, it's very linear in what it does, although your choices do make an effect on the who lives and who dies ultimately. So I can kind of see what they're getting at here by making Her Story the winner of that, where it's you're more actively engaged in discovery of the story itself rather than being guided by it. But honestly, out of all these things, having never played that game, I would have still taken Tales from the Borderlands myself, as far as best narrative goes. But I can understand too, like, the narrative in a lot of these other games has been done to death as well, including Life is Strange. Life is Strange and Until Dawn are very similar in that regard, and Her Story was very different, although ultimately predictable. So, I don't know. I can agree somewhat on their choice there, but I really think that Tales from the Borderlands probably beats all those out as far as having characters and stuff that are more memorable and more fleshed out, I feel like. But who knows? And they were working, honestly, they were working with a franchise that was not really known for its storytelling. It was mostly just an FPS with RPG elements on it, and the story was just kind of there just to get you through it. But to take that and then take that universe and then make something really good out of it, I feel like that took more effort than some of the others, possibly. But it is what it is. I think. The next category: best score or soundtrack. Fallout 4 is the nomination. Halo 5 Guardians. Metal. I don't know why I can't say this, but Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. I don't know why that trips me up every time. Ori and the Blind Forest, or The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We're starting to getting all the same things all the time here. But the winner was a Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain for best score and soundtrack. I can't really comment on that. I don't know what the soundtrack is like in Fallout 4 because I've turned the sound off because it's music is copywritten on there. Halo 5 Guardians I've never played. Same with Ori and this Flying Forest. Witcher 3, the soundtrack is pretty samey in that. You know, I'm not jumping out of my boots to go buy a soundtrack of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt because it's pretty same sounding stuff. I mean, there's some good stuff in there. It just, you know, it gets grating after a while. I think you're hearing the same thing over and over and over again. Best performance, basically voice acting performance, I suppose. Ashley Burch as Chloe Price, Life is Strange. Camilla Luddington as Lara Croft, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Doug Cockle as Geralt, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Mark Hamill as the Joker, Batman Arkham Knight. Or Aviva Seifert from Her Story. And she actually won for that particular category. It makes sense given that Her Story won for Best Narrative that they would also nominate this or that she would also win that. I think. Honestly, yeah. From the videos I've seen of Life is Strange, I don't think I would have given Ashley Burch the award for that either because I mean, there was a good performance there, but it wasn't like, compared to these other ones, not as great. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I couldn't tell you at all. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Geralt, he's very monotone. There's not really a lot of emotion behind what he says. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But for the most part, it's like me trying to act something in many cases, which is not basically indistinguishable from some regular old Joe talking. Yeah, I can see that, you know, I can see he's in other territory here that's not really, like, it's not as good as some of the other performances, I would say. Mark Hamill as a Joker, he always ends up putting in a very good performance as a Joker, so I would side on his side for these things rather than for Her Story. But in this case, you know, the Her Story, Viva Seifert, I can say, having watched the YouTube videos of it, she probably did she did a better job, I think, than I think she was deserving of that award. Let's put it that way. Let's tiptoe across all these eggshells here. Why not? Games for Impact. The nominations were Sibel, Her Story, Life is Strange, Sunset, and Undertale. And Life is Strange won that one. Don't even know what Stories for Impact or Games for Impact even means. I assume it means emotional impact? ? Which, if that's the case, Life is Strange probably did have the best emotional impact of all these. But yeah, can't add more to that than what is there. Best Shooter. So the nominations were Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Destiny: The Taken King, Halo 5 Guardians, Splatoon, and Star Wars Battlefront. I'm sorry, I'm laughing that Splatoon is considered a shooter. I guess technically it is a shooter, but yeah. I'm like, Star Wars Battlefront, Halo 5 Guardians, Destiny: The Taken King, Call of Duty Black Ops 5. Like, these are like military shooters, sci-fi shooters, another military shooter, military/sci-fi shooter, a sci-fi shooter, and then squids. But the Squids won. Splatoon won for the best shooter. So whatever on that one. I guess there was the obligatory. We must give Nintendo something because we didn't give them anything else. Best action or action adventure game. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I actually just got a code. I got because I purchased a video card. The video card that I purchased actually came with a code for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I actually own that now. So I don't know. This is the first Assassin's Creed game I've ever owned. So I don't know what to expect or what's going to happen with that. Batman Arkham Knight. What else do we have on here? Sorry, I had to scratch for a second. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. And Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain won for Best Action Adventure. I haven't played any of these games, so I couldn't really tell you what's good here or not good here. From what I understand, Metal Gear 5 was done really well, but in Batman Arkham Knight nobody could play. So, and I own Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but I have never played it yet, and it's still early. Like, that's just been released, so I hate how things have just been released and they're already getting awards, and barely anybody's even touched them yet. Ori and the Blind Forest, haven't played. Rise of Tomb Raider, yeah. I guess Metal Gear is the best one out of the best there. So, there you go. Best role-playing game. So the nominations were Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Pillars of Eternity, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and Undertale. And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was the winner of that. I can get behind that. It's a very good action RPG, I would say. If you wanted a very good classic RPG, from what I understand, Pillars of Eternity is that. I own it. I have not played. I only played about 10 minutes of it. I haven't gotten much further than that. I wanted to just get a hang of it so that I could see whether or not I could record it. And then Undertale is sort of your classic, like, JRPG-ish thing. And Fallout 4 is just shooty, bang, bang. Ask a few questions, get all the same answers, and just, get some extra bottle caps and build some bases. The role playing in Fallout 4 is not as strong as it probably should be. Let's put it that way. So it's tenuous that it's even nominated, to be honest. And Bloodborne, which I have not played because it is one of those games from Software that will absolutely punish you, and I can't I can't stand some of those games. I'm like, I think this would be an awesome game if it was actually something that I could play and not be completely ass backwards terrible at. Best fighting game. The nominations were Guilty Gear XRD Sign. Is it XRD? Is it third? Is it turd? I don't know. It's out of 10. Guilty Gear XRD Sign. Mortal Kombat 10. Rise of Incarnates. And Rising Thunder. Now, I know nothing at all about fighting games at all. So I can't really talk to any of these. The winner was Mortal Kombat 10. So there you go. I can't really speak to any of those. I'm not... the last fighting game I played was actually Mortal Kombat 1 or 2 or something like that in an arcade, and that was about it. Or I guess technically, I mean, I've played brawler games. I wouldn't call them fighting games. Brawlers is what I've played, but yeah, straight up fighting, yeah, that was probably the last one I did. Best family game. Disney Infinity 3.0, Lego Dimensions, Skylanders Superchargers, Splatoon, or Super Mario Maker. And the winner was Super Mario Maker. which, given the other things on the list here, I would say yes, that would be the best family game, because we're talking about Mario here, and we're talking about building Mario levels. So yeah, that's pretty much a shoehorn. I would almost say that category was basically created for Nintendo at that point. Best sports racing game: FIFA 16, Forza Motorsport 6, NBA 2K16, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, or Rocket League. And the winner was Rocket League, which is interesting, given the competition it has here. Like NBA 2K16, you got Rocket League, you've got Forza Motorsport 6. I mean, that's a pretty much a steal, I would say, from Psychonauts. They managed to upseat all these long running contenders here with their little rocket powered toy car soccer game. So there you go. Best multiplayer: Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Destiny The Taken King, Halo 5. Is Destiny... I feel like a multiplayer only game like Destiny is kind of, I don't know, kind of cheating to have it in this category, because like Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is not multiplayer only. It's got single player. Destiny does not have a single player. Halo 5 Guardians does have a single player, I think. Yeah, Halo 5 Guardians. Yeah, it definitely has a single player. Rocket League also has a single player, but it is technically a multiplayer mostly. And Splatoon is the other one. And Splatoon's only a multiplayer only, as far as I know. So that's kind of weird. Like, it's weird that they combined ones that have single player experiences with multiplayer experiences in the multiplayer thing. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, technically it's multiplayer, but I feel like they should break that into 2 categories or something, because you would think that something that's multiplayer only would be better multiplayer than things that have also a single player attached to them. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling on about minutia right now. But Splatoon was the winner of that best multiplayer. Best art direction. The nominations were for Batman: Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Ori and the Blind Forest, and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. It's like, this is the problem with award ceremonies, right? Is that you got a bunch of games that kind of sweep everything. Like every nomination they sort of get. And I get it, they're really great games, and I don't necessarily disagree with them being on this list, but seriously, there's gotta be other games out there that have really good art direction that are not one of the big 4 here, or big 5, whatever you'd say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad to see Ori and the Blind Forest was on there. In fact, Ori and the Blind Forest was the winner of that. But there should have been more like indies on here too, because there's a lot of indie games that do really well, surprisingly well with their art, and they're not represented here, and that's kind of a shame, honestly, kind of a shame. So fans' choice, esports game of the year. Nominations were Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, Hearthstone, League of Legends, and doesn't tell me who actually won. Oh, I guess because these are the fans' choice, that all of these were the fans' choice. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't say like this one was the winner, because I guess they were all winners. So there you go. Best fan creation, GTA 5 Targets. Let's see, this one's got a winner. Why doesn't the Esports Game of the Year one have a winner on it? That's strange. Very strange. Yeah, I got nothing. I have no idea who won Esports Game of the Year. It's one of those, but it doesn't tell me actually who did. Best fan creation, Targets, GTA 5 Targets, Portal Stories Mel, Real GTA, And Twitch plays Dark Souls, and the winner of this one was Portal Stories Mel, which I guess was a mod, I suppose, for something. I don't know. Unless it was just, these were all just videos. So there you go. Trending gamer. This one, that category that makes no freaking sense. Christopher, I mean, it's basically saying most popular personality, popularity contest, homecoming queen. That's, you know what? I'm going to rename this homecoming queen category. That's what this is. The nominations were for Christopher Montecristo Michaels, Greg Miller, Markiplier, PewDiePie, and Total Biscuit. And the winner this year was Greg Miller. And it's like, I guess these were all the same nominations from last year, weren't they? Because these all look familiar. And didn't TB win it last year? So I guess they're just going to cycle this around between all these guys because nobody else could be a trending gamer. Whatever the hell that means. Esports Team of the Year. Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, Optic Gaming, SK Telecom T1, and Team Solo Mid. The winner was Optic Gaming. Don't know anything about esports, so I can't add anything to that. As well as Esports Player of the Year, and I'll probably mess up all these names. We got Kenny S. Shrub, Lee Faker Sang-hui. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea. Olaf Muster, Kajibber, KAJBJER. There you go. You pronounce that however you want to pronounce that in your own brains. Peter PPD Dager, and from I should probably tell you what they're from. The Kenny guy was from Counter-Strike Global Offensive Team Envious. Lee was from League of Legends SK Telecom T1. Olaf is from Counter-Strike Global Offensive Fanatics Team. Peter PBD Dagger, whatever, from Dota 2 Evil Geniuses, and Syed Samail Hassan from Dota 2 Evil Geniuses. So the winner was Kenny Shrub Kenny, whatever, from Counter-Strike, from Team Envious, for Counter-Strike Go. So there you go. Most anticipated game. Okay. The nominations were Horizon Zero Dawn, No Man's Sky, Quantum Break, The Last Guardian, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. So Uncharted 4 being a action game, slightly platformer game, I guess. The Last Guardian, it's an art house game as far as I can tell. Quantum Break is something that I want to talk about a little bit more because I got additional video on that that I want to link to. I'm really excited about Quantum Break, honestly. No Man's Sky, I'm also very excited about. Sci-fi sandbox, go explore things and just make your own game. Or make your own story, I guess. Make your own entertainment is what I wanted to say. And Horizon Zero Dawn, I have no idea what that is. All I see is an image of a mechanical hawk of some kind and a woman in what I would consider to be like a loincloth thingy, firing a makeshift bow at it, which I imagine the bow would not do much harm to a mechanical monstrosity such as that. I am very intrigued because I have no idea what this is. It's Sony Computer Entertainment, so I'm wondering if this is like a PS4 exclusive thing, and that's why I've never heard or seen it, which would be very sad for me, but that's the thing. The winner, by the way, was No Man's Sky, which is pretty much a given that everybody and their grandmother, myself included, is waiting for No Man's Sky to see what is there. But that has been that's the roundup of the Game Awards 2015. I will leave a link, as always, to an article that talks about it, and also, well, actually, I'll just leave you a link to the nominations so you can just read them yourself. Why not? Oh man, I took a lot longer doing that than I honestly wanted to, but we got a few. Let's try to get a few announcements out here that have come up. So, Jade Empire is free right now on Origin. It is from BioWare. It's an old BioWare RPG game. I've heard that it's really good. I picked it up anyway. It's free on the house for Origin. All you gotta do is just have an Origin account and download the Origin client, and you can get free on the house games each month. They usually have one each month or two. Most of them are just, like Theme Hospital and crap like that. But this, every once in a while, they have a decent one. And I downloaded it. Jade Empire is this month, or next couple weeks anyway. So I'm curious to see what it's like. I've heard that it's a really good one. I've also heard people say that they didn't really like it. So it's I'm kind of on the fence there. I want to see what all the hubbub's about, and whether or not it's actually a really good RPG or not. So, and it's an older school BioWare one, so perhaps it's good. Perhaps, I mean, people have said that it suffers from the same problems that like Mass Effect 1 suffered from, but that being the case, I enjoyed the hell out of Mass Effect 1, so maybe this is something I'll enjoy. I don't know. In addition to that, we've got the winter sales going on and all that stuff. Some announcements came out of the Game Awards and also from the PlayStation Experience thing that went on. One of those was Psychonauts 2 is looking for some crowdfunding from Double Fine. I'll link you to your Gamer article that talks a little bit about it. There's not a whole lot of information. They've hit over $1 million right now. They're looking for 3.3 million. They're on Fig, which is a weird hybrid crowdfunding thing where you can either crowdfund something for rewards, or you can register as an investor, and you have to have like a certain net worth and stuff, as far as I know, and that will then allow you to invest in it and get profits back from it, like from the sales of the game. It's very, very strange platform. Given Double Fine's recent track record with crowdfunding, I would be very hesitant to put any money their way. Namely, they Broken Age stuff. They promised one game and then ended up delivering it in two parts, and both parts, the story didn't end up really fleshing out well. They still didn't have enough time at the end of the day. They kind of cut it off at the end there. Space Base DF9 was vaporware. Well, not vaporware, because there is something out there, but it's basically they just dumped it out onto Steam and said, here you go, it's not finished, but have fun. And that was not good. That was all crowdfunded stuff. So they've not had a very good record to date with actually planning their games out correctly as far as the amount of funding that they need. That might be why they've moved from Kickstarter over to this Fig thing, because they figure they'll have a better chance of getting the 3.3 million they need there than they will on Kickstarter. But that said, Indivisible, a game that I did a side quest video on for the demo, or a prototype, I should say, a few weeks ago, that hit its funding goal this week on Indiegogo. They had to extend their goal period. They had to extend by a month but they hit it with 5 days left. They hit their what was it, $1.5 million is what they hit. So they'll end up getting the money from 505 Games, and I think they actually surpassed that, and they went to 1.6 million. So that's good to see that about to come into fruition. So given that they're able to do that 1.5 million, it seems interesting that Double Fine has switched over from Kickstarter or Indiegogo to this Fig thing. So we'll see there. I would be extremely wary of that given their recent history with the crowdfunding stuff. But it is Psychonauts, and there are people who have been waiting for this day for a very long time. I never played Psychonauts, so I can't say whether or not it's something that I would like or not. I've seen partial videos of it, and it never really caught my fancy. But if you're into that series, I would imagine I would just caution you to wait and see if it ever becomes an actual thing before you start throwing money their way. Just because Double Fine's been a bit interesting with that recently. Another announcement that came out from the various events is Telltale is going to be working on a Batman series. Yes. I really hope that it's more closer to the Batman the Animated Series of the early 90s, because that's the one that I watched and the one that I love the most. But from the trailer that is linked in the article that I've linked to, it looks like it's going to be more of a grittier one, more of a, I don't know, closer to a movie style Batman one, which is okay, I guess. But I would really like to see a revival of like the animated series where you've got like actual detective stuff to do and things like that. And I'm wondering how that's going to work in a Telltale format, right? Because like Telltale is used to just doing sort of a linear path with a few branches here and there, and then you just come back to the linear path again. And with Batman, you can do that, but I feel like they should probably add in like detective things, like, because he is the master detective, right? He should be able to put some pieces together and find some things, rather than the action-oriented, almost cold-blooded killer Batman that is in the Arkham series that's out there now. So fingers crossed, hoping for that. I don't know that they announced when that series would be happening, but obviously at this point, probably 2016 is a good is a good indicator, since we're almost at 2016 now. I will be keeping my ear to the ground on that one and find out more information once I can, and more than likely playing it once it comes out. So that's the thing. In addition, so I've been keeping tabs on Paragon, not to be confused with Paladin or Overwatch or Battleborn or any of the other ones in that realm. Paragon is being developed by Epic Mega Games, and they've been very tight-lipped about it until very recently when they announced it in full at the PlayStation Experience. It looked like it was going to be a shooter. It looked like it was going to be some kind of team-based shooter, much like the Paladins that I've been playing. But it's turning out to be a MOBA. It's going to be a third-person MOBA, very similar to Smite and extremely similar to Battleborn, which is another one out there. And it's going to bring the concept of cards back into play, which we're starting to see a lot more of now. And I think that's mostly because it's very easy to monetize the ideas around cards, and where you collect cards, and those cards power up your heroes in various ways. It also makes it very, very samey to everything that's already out there. Like, you got Paladins, which has got the card-based system. You've got Smite, which doesn't, as far as I know, but I haven't played any of Smite. But that's the like your MOBA, your third-person MOBA. You've got Battleborn, which is a third-person MOBA, very, very similar to Paragon, except it's got a cartoon style to it, whereas Paragon's got more of a Destiny kind of look to it. If I were to compare, different art styles from different games to it. So that's a thing. I'll link it to a Destructoid article that talks a little bit about it, but it's mostly got links to embeds to two of the videos that were released, the launch trailer and the announcement trailer. One of them has gameplay, alpha gameplay. The other one does not. So I would encourage you to look at it. It's so far does not look like it's bringing anything new to the plate, and it's going to be yet another MOBA. I think we've hit the saturation point for MOBAs, if I'm to be completely honest and truthful with you. But it's the allure of the esports is very great for some of these companies because they know that they can make a ton of residual money off of things if an esport spins up around it. So I feel like that's the gold rush, right? The new kitsch that everyone is trying to hitch their wagon to, so they can get all that money, all that extra money out of it, and get people buying a bunch of card packs and all that stuff. Hearthstone is a little bit to blame for that too, for the whole everything now is a card, and you get cards, you craft cards, and that becomes your power for the game, your power-ups for the game, and all that stuff. So the popularity of some of those things, you can see that the Me Too is quite strong right now in that genre, I would say. Let's see. I don't have a whole lot of time left, and there's a bunch of things on here that I want to talk about, but might not be able to get to. What I will drop here right at the end, though, Paradox is working on, they're the ones that made a lot of strategy games, including most recently City Skylines and City Skylines After Dark. They announced a while ago that they were working on a 4X grand strategy game, similar to, like the Master of Orion stuff and the Europa Universalis and a few others. And it's called Stellaris. And I'm going to link you to Paragon because they have a preview video where they talk to one of the devs or product managers or something about the game while they show some B-reel footage of the game being played. And you get a very good idea of what the game's going to be like and what they're looking for. And I am very, very psyched about that. I don't usually get psyched for 4X stuff and the grand strategy, but in this case, it's sci-fi, obviously, but it's also it's got sort of a little bit of a Birth of the Federation vibe to it, just a tiny bit, where you start out as just a tiny planet. You only know about yourself. You expand outwards into your solar system. Then you start exploring out further. You run into other alien cultures. You befriend them or not. You can kind of create a federation if you want. You can have mutual alliance pacts, so on and so forth, and then just gradually expand your empire outwards until the end game, which is various scenarios that do the end game, and then there's events that happen along the way that can really throw you off. Like one of the events that he talked about that's in a late game event is one of the races that you encounter might make highly intelligent robots, which then overthrow their makers and become a threat to the whole galaxy, and things of that nature. Also, each playthrough is going to be slightly different because they're going to like procedurally generate the alien races. So there's not like going to be 10 or 12 races that you know about ahead of time. It's going to be more like this race is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then it's kind of throw it into a blender and give you something out, so that every playthrough is just slightly different in that regard. So that's pretty cool. So I'm cautiously optimistic about that. Again, I am not big into the 4X and not big into the grand strategy, but it's sci-fi, and so by definition I must at least devote a few brain cells to it and keep it alive in there and rattling around in the brain, in the old brain case. So yeah, I think I've dropped enough here. I think that will just about do it for this episode of Cube Ramblings. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Hopefully, if my computer holds up, the videos will continue. There may be a hitch in videos this week because of all the technical problems I'm having. I'm hoping that's not the case. I will do my best to not make that the case. But please be kind. And I will see you guys in hopefully next Sunday.